Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Critical Reactions with your host, Bryan. Now, today's Monday. That's the start of a brand new week, which means we start a brand new theme. And this week's theme is not metal or rock. Now, I got nothing against metal or rock. You guys have definitely introduced me to a lot of music that I've come to appreciate in those genres. And I've talked about them from a musical perspective a lot more than I thought I'd ever be able to. So I'm very appreciative of being able to approach this new music and come to an understanding and appreciation of it. But there's a lot more music out there, so we're going to spend a week looking at some stuff that isn't metal. And I'm sure that's going to turn off some of you people and be like, okay, maybe I'll just dodge out for a week. I'll come back, see you next Monday. But, I definitely urge everybody to at least give these songs a chance. If you don't want to stick around for the analysis, maybe you want to skip through the song, kind of listen to bits here and there, at least give them the opportunity to impress you, to have some sort of impression upon you, even if you end up not liking it. Okay, this whole channel is about broadening our musical exposure, and part of that is checking out genres that are outside of our wheelhouse. That is pretty much what I've done from day one. So I'm really excited to get to stuff this week. We have some we have some classical music, we have some drum corps, we have some bluegrass. We're going to do some bluegrass this week. In fact, that's today. We got some really cool stuff ahead of us. So, yeah, like I said, I implore everyone to stick around. And even if it isn't something that interests you, at least give the songs a shot. All right, so today's request comes at us from the... I'm shrinking. Okay. That's new. Well, I guess I can actually see the comments now, so I don't have to memorize everybody who's requesting songs and what songs they've requested. Well, that's going to make this process a lot easier. So let's see. Hectic Hector is saying I should check out Gangstagrass, the song Barnburning. All right, let's do it. I guess we're going to grow. Oh, geez, where'd that come from? Okay, things are a bit different around here today. Let's hope that is the last of today's surprises. Okay, so let's check out this Gangstagrass. Let's see what this is about. He says that it's hip hop meets bluegrass, and says it works. I don't know. Let's see what they got. Got a nice little groove to this. Got a little bit of a drawl, not like super southern. Definitely a bluesgrassy though. I really like the open right hand finger playing that the banjo player is doing. Very strong technique there, very versatile.
Get prepared soon as we hit the playback. We are to at night, every one of them haystacks. If you ain't ready, fool, you should make tracks. Piece of beat rock, no time to fake jacks. If that hot yellow, we gon' make it harsh fellow. Cowards get roasted in the fire like marshmallows. I'm the shark in the shallowest part of the water where you thought it was safe, but there ain't no escape. The fireman that's creating a blaze on the pages of the journal and making it inferno. You're a sterno in comparison. I spit molten metal. My train steam punks rappers over the trestle. Try to wrestle with this only in your dream. Giving sunburns and fevers out, raising your degrees. Keeping it 449 and won't turn it up. Otherwise, the whole.
The weird thing though is that I'm hearing at least a drum, but also maybe a bass. Yeah, got some cool backing vocals there. I wouldn't mind some vocal harmony though. All right.
Spark it up, get your whole house burnt down. To a grist, let me give you all the rundown. It ain't never been a cost for me to
I like how they bring it down a little bit and turn it a little bit more percussive in their playing.
You ain't shaking what you're coming in the shack for. Act mode like you want to party with a track on. I'ma give it to you.
Then they're gonna bring it back.
When I'm on this thing, spit flame that I burn a whole that current stage. When I wrote it, man, he burned through that current page. I ain't paying, man, you acting like a that current game. Campaign, now we move with our hands up. Seem like the whole world is against us. Seek the truth, that's a rule that you can't trust. Seeing how we do, move smooth like a panther. We are the ones with the bomb, baby, you can see the flames rising as we ride.
It looks like the guitarist is doing some harmonizing, but he's just not mic'd. Got a nice like jam session feel here. I kind of hear some harmony. It's just not Mike though, which kind of sucks. So yeah, that was pretty slick. Pretty slick. And Gangstagrass. Okay, so the name of the group is just a little on the nose as far as I'm concerned. I mean, it's bluegrass and hip hop, and we just kind of mash gangster and grass together. We get a Gangstagrass. I mean, yeah. Some people just want to put it out there. You know exactly what you're getting when you pick the CD up or when you see them on Spotify or whatever. And I guess, I mean, that's cool. Not deceptive at all. They're telling you straight out, you know, this is our band name. You can kind of guess what we're doing here. So, yeah. Now, I want to start off by talking about our preconceived notions of genre that are based in society. Pop culture basically tells us what each genre is going to deliver on and what genres cannot mesh together. It's something that doesn't make any sense once you break it down. Like okay, so for instance, for me personally, when Hector said you should check out this band that's bluegrass and hip hop, my first reaction was, that doesn't make sense. That's going to be like the weirdest combination ever. But then the analytical side of me starts breaking it down. Like, okay, so what is music? What is bluegrass? What is hip hop? And hip hop is just rhythmic music with rapping over it. And bluegrass is usually quickly strummed country music with singing over it. There is nothing inherently unique about hip-hop that allows rapping to fit with it. Rapping can fit over any musical type. By definition, you take the singing out of bluegrass and you can rap over it. You take the singing out of metal or pop or rock or anything. Rapping is just a vocal delivery style. So, while it might sound weird on the surface for somebody to say these two genres are about to get mashed up, and you're like, well, I don't know about that. That's really a product of our culture that tells us that music doesn't work together. We put these boundaries between musical ideas to separate them for a reason, and that's wrong. And I think it sucks that at least me, and I would kind of assume a lot of at least my generation and generations prior, have been raised to, not specifically raised to separate music, but we just all have this idea that's been given to us from our surroundings that certain musical styles can't be mixed, that it would be weird if they did, or that when they do work, that it's this miracle. Like, wow, who would have ever thought of this? It's like, it's just instruments. It's just a banjo and a guitar and a violin and a voice. Who cares how the voice is being delivered? You know, that's like saying you can't play a violin without a bow in an orchestra. That plucking isn't the same as strumming, or not strumming, what do they call it? Bowing. It's just wild that I even had that thought to begin with, that this is going to be a weird mashup. So yeah, I just wanted to like put that out there first, that it just kind of sucks that we have these preconceived notions that are not natural. They're, you know, instilled upon us by our society, about what would work and what wouldn't work musically, when pretty much anything would work. There really isn't any way, I don't think there's any combination of instruments that would produce bad music. So yeah, that's out of the way though. Let me get to like checking out this band though. I really enjoyed how they bridged the gap. It wasn't bluegrass music with hip hop vocal delivery. It wasn't hip hop music with bluegrass vocal delivery. It was sort of a culmination of everything of both genres. We had the faster banjo playing and the fiddle lead, violin, we're going to call it a violin, lead, and a rhythm guitar playing rather standard bluegrass style music. And we had a lead singer with a bit of a southern drawl to it, giving it a bit of that you know, bluegrass down the earth kind of singing style. But it didn't stop there. The instruments also took on a more percussive role when the rappers came in and started doing their vocal delivery. So we had the more melodic oriented music of the bluegrass, and then we had the more rhythmic oriented delivery of the hip hop. But they both melded together as well. They weren't separated. We see that in a lot of groups where they're saying, you know, they're gonna blend two genres, and really they just have two separate ideas in the same song. But we can actually see segments where the rappers are rapping over melodic sections, and where we can see some of the more hip hop inspiration come into play inside the bluegrass oriented sections, with the you know, the background vocals kind of delivering stuff after the lead vocal said something to kind of buttress those lyrics from the lead vocalist. Yeah, it all just kind of came together into a very unique idea that pulled concepts from both genres and allowed them to just intermesh and interweave and become, you know, this really cool music. I can't say I've seen a couple of bluegrass bands. I've actually been to a bluegrass festival. It was a bit younger in my life. I was late teens, or early teens maybe. Maybe tweens. You know, it's somewhere in that 10 to 13 range though, I think. And just, I can't think of any bluegrass music I've heard that has these heavy rhythmic elements in it. I don't know. I haven't listened to a lot of bluegrass. I can't say I'm deeply entrenched in the genre of music, but what I have heard, just, it doesn't have those hip hop elements that these guys have incorporated in. So I really love that. I also want to pay close attention to the musicians and their craft. The instrumentalists were no slouches. The violinist was playing some real dirty solos. I mean, just real good stuff there. The rhythm guitarist, laying down the rhythm. He may just be playing chords, but he's pretty much the drummer, the metronome in this group, since there isn't one. Despite the fact that I heard a drum, I heard at least the bass drum kick. I'm going to assume that was added in post, because there was no drummer there. I mean, unless he was off camera, what's the point of that? I don't know. I didn't see a drummer. I'm going to assume there was no drummer, and that was added in post. So if they were to play live, assuming this is a live presentation, the guitarist is your rhythm keeper. He's your metronome. He's the guy he's the glue holding the band together. Um, so yeah, like I said, even though he's mostly just playing chords, he's also harmonizing with the vocalist while playing the chords, and he's keeping the time for everybody. So he's got a pretty big job there as far as guitars go. And then the banjo just laying down pretty much 16th notes the entire song with I was talking about the open right hand that he's finger picking with. Something we don't see too often on this channel because a lot of rock and guitar is focused around picking. The only time we really see multiple fingers come in is when we get into tapping, like when we checked out Animals as Leaders last week, I think it was, maybe the week before. So yeah, it's something we don't really see on the channel too often, but it's a side of guitar work, or I wonder if there's like there is a term for like stringed instruments, but shaped like a guitar. Like it wouldn't include stuff like harps and stuff. I don't know. I'm pretty sure there's a term for that, but it's just escaping my mind at the moment. Um, but yeah, his picking work is just phenomenal. It was on point, and it was just very sharp. It had a nice percussiveness to it. But it also had this really soft playing just because a lot of it is finger picked. When you use a plastic pick, you end up getting a lot sharper attack than you do with the with finger picking. So yeah, there's some really nice elements to him. I think just kind of knowing the technique he was using and how he was employing it, I think he was really the highlight of the band for me, even though for the most part he faded into the background under the vocal leads and the violin solos. He really stood out to me as being just really encapsulating what I love about guitar playing. The two rappers, though, I do want to make mention of theirs. I don't. I'm going to assume the song is composed, the lyrics are written, that none of this was improvised, including the violin solos. I don't have any information to back that up. It's just an assumption I'm making, having watched this. Um, that isn't to say that the rappers weren't freestyling. That isn't to say that the violin solos weren't improvised. But I'm just getting the feeling that a lot of this was pre-written. However, though, the rappers, I want to point out that their vocal delivery provided a much needed percussive element to the band, and rapping tends to do that. It's more focused on rhythmic ideas rather than melodic ideas. But also the way that they mold and bend the English language is phenomenal, both of them. I don't know who writes the rap parts. I don't know if it's collaborative or if they each did their own thing or if one person wrote both sections, but the amount of internal rhymes that occurred was just mind-blowing. I don't listen to a lot of rap typically because of the musical aspect. There really isn't a lot of musicality going on. But I do have a very strong appreciation for the language elements of rapping. And it's something that I don't see a lot in, I don't want to say modern day rappers. I know a lot of people in that culture have kind of dubbed the mumble rappers. The ones, I think those are the ones that don't really have a strong sense of wordplay and inter-word relationships and stuff like that. But this is like the complete opposite of that, where all of the words have such a strong relationship to each other or to other words in the sentence or other words in the rhyming scheme or other words in the flow of that section, the phrasing of that sentence, stuff like that. There's just so many really cool moments, even though they have, the rhyming at the end of each bar. That's pretty standard for singing or poetry or rapping. They also have a lot of um, like inner melodic rhyming. This is definitely a section of music that I could be educated on with new vocabulary. Um, I'm trying my best to explain this without having the proper words. Um, but like in poetry, at the end of each line, you usually have, your couplets, where the last word of each line will rhyme. And this one, these rappers seem to have a lot of rhyming within the lines. And maybe it'll be like the first beat of the line rhymes with the first beat of the next line. And, doing a lot of really cool wordplay there. And it's just phenomenal that they can write these sentences out with these melodic flow, not melodic, like rhythmic flows, and getting these very percussive sounds and like kind of defining the feel of these sections, the time feel, while still having some really high level vocabulary and language understanding going on, aside from the musical aspects. So yeah, just really blown away with all of that. And like I said, everybody in their own right is just really amazing. There's some really good craftsmanship going on in every single one of these musicians, but when it all comes together, the song is a banger. Like, it's groovy, but it still has that like southern leaning back, kind of chilling bluegrass sitting on your porch kind of feel. But there's like this underlying groove that you can get into and kind of like bob your head to as well. And then the singing's on point, the violin solos are on point, the banjo playing's on point, the rapping's on point, and it all just comes together to a really solid track. And I would never have heard of these guys if it wasn't for the Hectic Hector recommending this one for the week. It's just, yeah. So this is where you guys come in, though. What do you guys think of Gangstagrass? And are you gonna listen to any more of this stuff? I am definitely gonna. I don't think it's something I'm gonna listen to all the time, but I am going to check out more of their works when I'm done with this and kind of see what else they can do. Because I honestly don't think they're gonna have another chance to be on the channel, which is kind of unfortunate. I feel that way about all the stuff we're checking out this week. That is kind of a one shot to be on the channel, just because so many of the viewers and requests are metal oriented stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna be checking out a lot of their stuff on my own time, just see what they're doing. So yeah, is that what you guys are gonna do? Is this a pass for you? It was kind of cool, but nothing you're gonna go check out on your own, stuff like that. Let me know in the comments. While you're down there, you can like, subscribe, and ring the bell. All three of those things help out the channel immensely. We are almost at 10K, so each one of those subscribes is just helping out the channel get to that 10K quickly. If you like, you can check out my Twitter or my Patreon. Those links are down in the description. And I'll be back tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 p.m. UTC, as usual, with more of this week's theme. Yeah, so until then, you guys stay safe out there and have a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening whenever you choose to watch my videos.